Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The League with your host, Tiger Tiger, aka Niner Nation, also known as this year's commissioner for the league. And in today's guest, hailing all the way from Wainuiomata, New Zealand, formerly known as the Music City Miracle, Poni Lealofi. How's it going, mate?
Good, mate. Thank you for having me on this incredible platform that you've started, bro. So, mate, good to be here, bro.
Good to have you, mate. Good to have you. Look, we're just going to run through about 10 questions, and you answer them as however you answer them. It's going to be a lot of fun. So take your time. No pressure. No one else is watching until later. So especially some of those questions. All right, man. Let's get started. How long have you been involved in the league?
I think maybe Rana has already alluded to it, but I think the league started back in 2011, and that was just a small group of us, maybe six of us, I believe. That was born out of just a general interest in the NFL itself, and you know, uh, fantasy was kind of something that one of the boys had mentioned, and we thought, we'll get our feet wet in this platform, this fantasy sort of adventure. So yeah, since 2011, I think we first started, and it was like with me, Rana, Ian, Winnie, Esse, and possibly Nate Lambert, which
Yeah.
is one of Ian's auditions.
Yeah, the Spartan boys, right? That's right.
Yeah. It was that. I think that's where the idea of fantasy came around. Was some of those Spartan boys. So yeah, just a quick kind of history around the league. Started with six, and we thought we would try and expand it. And then as each year progressed, we would always managed to get a couple here and there. I think Runner had one of his boys join early on, or the year after. I think Tully was his name, and we
That's
had some
right.
other guys as well come through and leave. Favi and Jordan, Joe Tumavagi, I think played a couple of seasons as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it all started. And throughout those guys leaving or getting the boot, that's where guys like Bus and Lake, Nate, who else? John, Mully and them came in. So some of those guys were guys that I'd known and kind of vouched for and fought to be included in the league. So, and that's where we are today. We started with six, and now we're at 14. So now it's grown a lot over the years.
That's awesome, man. So much history in the 11 years that this competition has been running. A lot of laughs, a lot of tears, but a lot of fun nonetheless. And that takes us to our next question. What's been your best result?
I think it was 2016. I managed to get some revenge on beating the Texans Tornado, run by Bus. The previous year I had lost to him in the final. So yeah, 2016 was my best year in the comp.
Nice.
And then I think in 2020 I made the final again against Bus.
Oh, wow.
And lost to Bus. So bit of history there with my AFC South rival, Bus, and having being the one to introduce Bus to the league, and all the success he's had over the years. Not only just in NFL fantasy, but with NRL as well. I think I can take some credit there. Um, being the
Why,
one to
why not?
bring him into these fantasy leagues.
Yeah, and he's kind of taken over the fantasy sports industry, hasn't he? Including my NRL this year. So I think going back to the year you just lost, was it the year you won? I think the points difference was like point less than point one, right, or something. It was that close, if I remember.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
so
I remember.
exciting. All I remember
Mm,
was you guys neck and neck, and man, and everyone was on it. Everyone was just watching the numbers up and down, and
uh, uh, uh.
so good.
Yeah, from memory, it was like I was stuck to my phone that whole morning, and I think I was at a hospital appointment, and yeah, I was just like scrolling through my phone, and I was like, oh man, I should really put it down, but I was so intrigued by where
Yeah,
how the final was going to be played out. So
yeah.
yeah, it was an interesting time.
Good times. Good times. Speaking of this coming weekend, you going to tell us about your plan of attack, a strategy, about how you're going to draft your team.
Um, yeah, interesting you say that. I mean, when we were young or single, or maybe just had one
No
kid or
kids.
whatnot, no kids or something like that, we used to always have these cheat sheets that would take into every draft. And I always remember Ian was a big advocate of those, bringing files and stuff to drafts to make it look like, you really did your study and research and stuff like that. But
Oh
as time
man.
wore on and priorities change with the kids and whatnot, you just you just show up to the draft and just kind of go in with the formula
Mm,
top of your head, really, because yeah, we don't, or I don't research players as I used to, or rookies or anything like that. It's
yeah.
more of like who's ever on the board, whoever you kind
Yep.
of gut feeling instinct sort of thing that you think will go off this year. There's a free agency, and then you kind of take that into account. So no strategy really. I think over the years I've been big on drafting running backs. For first 3 to 4 rounds, really stock up on them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it'd be interesting drafting. I think 12 or 11, somewhere towards the end of the.
You're the last.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
14.
So yeah, obviously that will kind of factor into who's left on the board, and yeah, just gonna just go give it see how it goes, pretty much.
Yeah. Nice one. I can't remember the other previously. I can't remember whoever else has been at number 14 or even number one for that matter. Uh, so it's a lot of pressure, isn't it? A lot of pressure. So good luck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Good luck, man. That's a good strategy, stocking up on running backs. It looks like there's going to be a lot out there. More
Mm,
so wide receivers as well.
mm.
So see on the day. Okay, so the next question, moment or memory that stood out for you since playing?
Mm. Yeah, I wouldn't. That's a tough one to kind of pick out a particular moment or memory. I think really overall, it's just any time I've been able to meet in person, whether it be at the draft or
Mm-hmm.
at the Super Bowls.
Yeah, nice.
We've really built a good sort of frat or fraternity, um, by playing fantasy, and so a lot of trash, a lot of banter. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when you can, say it in person and whatnot. So yeah, from watching the countless Super Bowls with the Patriot boys, Fudge and Lake, that stood out.
Yeah,
Seeing them,
in your
seeing
garage?
them in,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was, yeah, and. yeah, in the living room as well too. So I've had the unfortunate yeah moments of hosting those two,
Mm.
winning their Super Bowls, and another one is probably one of our first ones when I was living next door to my mum and dad's, and you came around and brought the Irish boys, and you got a bit to lick it up, and
Yeah.
starting eating whole walls. And the Irish boys were amazed in just how you could fit that much amount of food in your mouth.
Oh, oh, mate, I can't remember that, but
Yeah,
yeah, if you say so, if you say so. Yeah,
yeah,
talking about moments and memories, from uh, two broken trophies. Now we've converted to a belt, so it's the evolution of our league, isn't it?
it is. It is.
Funny that. Okay, on to our next question. Obviously, you support the Tennessee Titans, but the Frat and possibly others want to know why.
Um, this was probably brought about by Madden, playing Madden back in school days.
Hmm.
But the memory I have is probably in like 1997 or 1998, and it was like a Saturday, and I was at home, probably just after a game of rugby in the cold, and showered up, blankets on, and just flicking through the channels, and then I just stumbled upon a game of football being played,
Hmm.
and that game happened to be, I think they were still the Oilers at the time, but they were called the Tennessee Oilers. So it's, I think in 97, 98, and then yeah, when I was watching the game, I was like, man, this Eddie George guy, man, he's the man.
Yep.
And then it was like the quarterback, Steve McNair, like he's the man. And I'm just like watching, and I'm like, man, when you're so brought up by rugby and rugby league, and then
Mm,
you look at how American football is played and the perception of it being stop and start, you know, and then the ads and whatnot. But I thought I'd really give it a bit of a whirl, and then one thing led to another, and then I was like, man, I'm gonna try watching this a bit more. Not
nice.
not like we'll watch it now, but it was just gradual
Mm,
watching it bit by bit. So that's how I just stumbled upon the Titans, where it's just watching those two and being in awe of how they played, and then hearing that they made the Super Bowl in 2000, and that started to gain some traction into really
okay.
following not only American football but the Titans.
Nice.
So yeah, that's how it came about. But I was close to being a Bengals fan too, because I saw another random game, and this
Mm,
guy Corey Dillon, running back, and I was like, man, this guy's the man. So just slowly picking up with things, and I thought,
yeah.
man, I support a team like that, but they were pretty crap, at that time too. So I just stuck with the Titans.
Nice. Well, I thought you were going to mention, well, a Redskins. You were going to become a Redskins fans, but that's a different story, isn't it?
And hey, come on, I'm not Ian Renner, mate.
I'm not saying any names, but okay, it's up to you. Let's move along. Nice. Hey, thanks for that answer. Um, Next question. Name a player or an ex-player that you admired or admire in the National Football League.
Just like the guys I've mentioned, probably yeah, Eddie George. Um, that's why I first became a kind of a Titans fan. Um, and yeah, just probably yeah, um, Chris Johnson when
Yeah.
he was at the height of his talent and skills. So
Mm,
yeah, I admire those players a lot.
nice. Nice. Okay, here on to the next question. It's a fun one. Who would you not trade with in the league and why?
Um, yeah, I've seen this question pop up, and if you guys play it safe. Um, probably a scumbag Colts fan, Winston Maoli. He's this
Yeah.
is the thing with that guy. You know, he throws trades left, right, and center. So it's funny
Yeah.
because I'll see a notification come through, and it'll be like, "Oh, you have received a trade offer from Winston Maoli, cult following."
And if you're not aware, you are the second person that has mentioned the cult following, or we should say, the current champ. Hello. She wants to jump in. You can put her on your lap if you like.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was with that guy. He throws out trades, and then he cancels it right after after like a minute or two. So he's like playing mind games in the background,
Yeah.
trying to see if your bites. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think the other thing is being an AFC South rival. We've had our moments over the years,
Mm-hmm.
not only in fantasy but on Madden and in real life. So it's good to have that kind of
Rivalry.
that
It's great.
rivalry.
It's great to see competition between you guys. Being good friends in that, and then rivals in the division. It's spoken volumes over the years, so it's a great watch. Great to see the banter. Like I said, that you're the second person that's mentioned the champ that you won't be training with anytime soon. But if you're speaking your mind and others aren't, well, I mean, you know, you're putting yourself out there. So good on you, mate. Thanks for that answer. Nice. Okay, just a few more questions before we finish off. Quick fire questions. So, favorite food?
Food. I'd have to say probably a seafood laksa. It's the kind of the go-to over the last few years, especially meeting up in town for lunch with Bus and Mully and Ian over the years. We've got a special kind of spot
Nice.
we like to go to, and that's always been my preferences was the laksa, especially on a winter's day. Bit of roti to go along with it. So yeah, it does the trick.
Yum, making me hungry. Favorite music artist?
It's another hard one. Hard to kind of name a single artist, but probably in terms of genre, have to be the '80s for me. Anything from like Peter Cetera, Bit of Surface, Peebo Bryson, just kind of those kind of like love ballads. I like to.
The king of 80s ballads. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
So that's kind of like me in a nutshell with kind of the old school stuff. I like a bit of kind of a mixture really of what came out in the '80s, not just a particular sort of like the breeze type of music really. So yeah.
Nice, man. Thanks for that. And one more question. Name the one person you could be with for a day.
Probably would have to be probably like to meet or spend a day with Bruce Lee.
Yep.
Bruce Lee, or even the New Zealand guy from Enter the Dragon. Just like to see what it was like playing that role and being alongside someone of
what's his name again?
Bruce Lee's.
Yeah, is he still alive?
Oh, I don't know, but that would be just like
you know what? He's probably still stuck on that island, I tell you.
Yeah, pretty much. And just ask him like, what were you thinking, mate, trying to take Bruce Lee on one-on-one and getting into that boat, mate? What were you thinking, buddy? So
it's a laugh.
But I think for me, Bruce Lee, growing up watching those movies, just like to just pick his brain a bit. Like he spoke a lot of wisdom.
Jeez, yeah. You can only imagine, just the words coming out of his mouth. He'd just be sitting there in awe, soaking it all in. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Appreciate your time, Bonnie. I know it's late in the evening, getting your kids down and all. This concludes our podcast. Just want to give you a shout out for being one of the founders of the league and also being involved in the recruitment over the years. No doubt you've recruited myself and others, and it's been awesome. It's been an awesome journey, and I hope to continue that journey on the next maybe 10 years just to see where we're at. So appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no
All right,
worries.
guys, that concludes our interview with Kings of TanneHill, aka Poni Lealofi. You're tuning into the League podcast. Thanks for your time. Until then, we'll see you later on.
Thanks, guys.